Hey, I am here to talk about one of my favorite poses, Chaturanga Dandasana. So, this is a pose that's part of our sun salutation. It translates to four-limbed staff pose. You might also know it as low plank. And I'm going to show you a few tips to find the best and optimal alignment for yourself in this pose. If you have two yoga blocks, I'm going to use them to show you a way that we can support that pose as well. So, Chaturanga Dandasana. Hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread really wide. Index fingers point directly forward. You're going to step your feet back, so shoulders stack right over wrists. And the feet can be about hip width apart or so. You've always got the option here to come down onto the knees as well. And then what I see people doing, so this is our high plank, and we move into Chaturanga from here. We'll do that by lowering halfway. Elbows hug in at the sides. What I see a lot of is like elbows coming out or lowering like really far down and trying to kind of hold that pose. You're going to put a lot of stress and pressure on your shoulders if you do that. Maybe, one time or two times, you're not going to feel that. But if that's how you're practicing, you'll start to feel some pain in the shoulders eventually. So we're looking to find these optimal alignment cues to help us maintain the integrity of the pose. So I roll forward and then lower halfway. Keep more of a, maybe even more than 90-degree bend in the elbows. And then from here, you're moving to upward facing dog. So I want to stress that elbows are hugged in at the sides. If I show you from the front what that looks like, my elbows are actually touching my rib cage here. So they're not out to the side. My hands are right under my shoulders, and the elbows are hugging in at the sides. The way you can use the blocks to test this is to place them on the high height, 2 blocks right at the front of your mat. They're going to be shoulder height, and you'll bring your hands just behind the blocks, set up your high plank, and then roll forward and lower down to place your shoulders on the blocks. So this is a lot easier. It's not easy, but it's easier to help find some support for me in this pose. If you can't hold this comfortably with your knees lifted, you can lower to your knees. If you can't hold that comfortably on the blocks for at least maybe 3 breaths or so with your knees lifted, I would suggest that you come down to your knees when you're not using the blocks. There's nothing wrong with lowering to the knees. And if you're practicing yoga a lot, you're going to start to find, again, that those shoulders are really going to take a hit if you're not being mindful of where you place them. So come down to the knees if you need, and you'll continue to build that upper arm strength. In our traditional yoga vinyasa flow, you would move straight from Chaturanga Dandasana to upward facing dog without lowering the knees and the thighs to the earth. So just keep that in mind as well. If that's kind of where you're going, see if you can challenge yourself to give it a try to move straight from one to the other. And if that is not working for your body, then consider lowering down to the knees to find that integrity of elbows hugging in at the sides and then opening up. So if you're lowering to the knees, your plank would look a little bit more like this, and then upward facing dog. Maybe you even lift the knees and thighs in up dog. And there you go. Chaturanga Dandasana. It is also a pose that is really important to get the correct form because it is the basis for many of our arm balancing poses. So I hope that little hack helps. Give it a try with the blocks and let me know if that helps you get a feel for how the pose should feel in your body. Thanks.